Oh my God, what a fun week.
Uh, week?
Two
Girl,
weeks,
girl, I feel like it's been a month. I feel like it's been
long,
Yeah.
long,
Yes.
long week, like
Yeah.
long
Or maybe
four
that's why it feels like it's not just a week because maybe everything is just like coming together.
condensed
Yeah.
into one thing. I know.
Yep. Yep.
Well, we got through 4th of July, and then the week before that, we got through the wedding.
Mhm.
So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and we've had a lot of podcasts since then, and kind of a lot of podcasts over the last, you know, 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And we've never really gotten to sit and recap them.
Mm-mm.
So I've definitely wanted to sit and recap some of these shows and some of the interactions that I've had. Hey, Kenneth, what's up, dude?
Hey.
Um, crazy, crazy, crazy. I
Mhm.
feel like I've talked to more men in the last like 5 or 6 months than I have in my entire life, but like real genuine conversations.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
things about things that are important, not just like, hey, what did what sports did we watch today or whatever. Like
Yep.
I've had oh, Vindicate, what's up, dude?
What's up?
Um, I've had real conversations uh with a lot of real men in the last 6 months, and it's had quite the impression on me, I
Yeah.
would have to say. I
Yeah.
don't think I would say it warmed my cold, dead lesbian heart, like, it grew my heart grew 3 inches, like, since all of this kinda started, and
Mhm.
it's very cool, and it's very humbling, and it shows where I came from kind of 4 years ago,
Mhm.
and, like, my mindset 4 years ago as opposed to my mindset now.
Yeah, because the coolest thing about this podcast that I have felt is just having genuine conversations and being able to ask certain guests difficult conversations, and also too watching how open and vulnerable and willing to
To
talk,
share? Yeah.
yeah, to talk and to share very intimate parts of um
Vindicate. You said grew 3 inches, and
and
Jake
Jake
got excited.
appears.
I rubbed something and Jake showed up. That's cool.
um but the willingness to just share, and I think that that's the coolest part that we're able to take away from it. And every person says that they left feeling relaxed, chill, like that it was just a really good conversation and a really good experience for them coming on our show. And that's a testament to you, and that's a testament to me and what this podcast is, and what you've created.
I just think being able to talk to guys on this type of level and understand more
Mhm.
and really figure out, like, why are we so afraid to do that? Why are we so afraid to have these conversations with guys? Like, we've talked to Tucker, he's talked about his wife and his, his business mind, his everything. We've
Mhm.
talked to Souza, he helped me and understand a lot of different things in that podcast. We
Mhm.
talked to Travis last night. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? We've talked to Jake's been on the show,
Mhm.
Kenneth has been on the show,
Mhm.
Jan Clark's been on the show, like, and
Chase, Bill,
yeah,
Sevon,
it
like
goes on and on. I've talked to Hiller, I've talked to
Pedro.
yeah,
Mhm.
and e
John Young.
so the fear for women to go ahead and talk to men on an actual, like, and also too learning that it's fun. Like, their perspectives are fun, men's
Mhm.
perspectives are fun.
Mhm.
It's way more relaxed than women. Like, you talk to women behind the scenes and whatnot, and it's like, it can get a little scary.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, kinda, then Dylan Lowen's coming up, Caleb's
Caleb's
coming
coming up.
up, like,
Yep.
it just
I mean, I have to say, for the most part, the women reaction that we've had, like with Trish and Lauren and Ariel, and being able to talk to the women that we have connected with. I don't know about you, but I have felt very received in a
Oh,
positive way.
oh yeah, for sure.
But it
I'm not
is,
saying that. I'm
yeah.
just saying that like most we kind of a lot of times fear talking to men or what's happening in the country right now makes us like fear wanting to talk to men, and men are just bad. They're bad for all women. You saw that stupid ass post about wanting, do you want to be in the forest stranded with a man by yourself or a bear by yourself? And all the women were picking a bear. Like, dude, sorry, picking a man.
Mhm.
Like, I would be less afraid. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Where do you think that that is coming from? Why do you think that men are viewed so differently now than they were before?
I I don't know, Jake Chapman, what kind of bear.
Mhm.
Any bear. I'd just rather be in the woods. I feel safer with a dude
Mhm.
than I would feel with a bear. Um, but I think it's a narrative, that got pumped up through the 90s,
Mhm.
early 2000s, and
Mhm.
I think it's just been made to, like, you can't have a conversation with dudes, you can't share your feelings with dudes, you know, eh, but in all reality, like, m the majority I always felt like the majority of guys didn't wanna help you out, like, the majority of guys just saw you as a sex object,
Mhm.
just saw you as something to ogle at. They weren't supposed to be able to look at you, they weren't supposed to be able to do any of that, and it's not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm
Mhm.
finding out that it's really not the case. Talking
Mhm.
to all these guys, and it's not even like it's all age groups. Like, I behind the scenes, I've talked to Papa Birch. I've talked to, you know, ah, everybody.
Mhm.
And it's not that. And most men are willing to help you out, and most men are willing to be there for you. And not showing that, not sharing that, like, that sucks. Vindicate, because people believe everything on social versus, yeah, for sure. What actually is going on, what's actually going on around them.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I get it, and we can talk about, like, for women, what it like, you're gonna find I've talked about it on this show multiple times. You're probably gonna find a woman that's been assaulted in some way, somewhere, at some point.
Mhm.
But they use it to make us think all men are bad.
Mhm.
It's like, not all men are bad. That dude that dude's bad, but the men around you are not all bad, and it just kind of makes me think back to my grandpa and how long, and I said it on, Savon's podcast at one point, how long it took me to be able to hug my grandfather again after what happened to me,
Mhm.
and yeah, of course, some of that is because of what I went through, but also, once that happens, the narrative is all men are bad,
Mhm.
and it's not that way.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I don't think the reason that if if a woman was sexually assaulted, traumatized, whatever, her trust for men has been broken. And for some people, it's the first time. Other people, it might be trust is broken with their fathers. Maybe trust is broken with their brothers, and I'm not saying always in a sexual way. I'm just saying that there was a trust that was broken. There was something that happened. Maybe their father, like, kind of reading off of what Kenneth said, like maybe their father couldn't control their emotions, and the only type of emotion that he was ever able to give was anger. And so there was a mistrust around men being angry. So then a woman carries that, a daughter carries that. And then as she grows older, there's that mistrust follows until you heal that wound. So,
I just feel like they're trying to weaponize it at this point. Like, there's a faction that's trying to, weaponize what the trauma that women sometimes go through, and they
mhm,
try to weaponize it and use it so that we can't look outside of that. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I look at all these men that we've talked to in the last 6 months, and literally, like, you have dads with girls that just wanna protect their girls and care about their girls, and they're gonna do whatever they feel like is necessary to be able to protect their wife, their daughters. You have, Pedro was on the show. He talked nonstop about how, like, what a superhero his wife is.
Mhm.
He's got a
Tucker, same thing, like,
yeah,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Taylor, what a superhero his wife is. Sevon, what a superhero his wife is. You you to not to think to make us think that we can't confide in a man and tell us what happened and whatever, or worry, and, you know, I think it's so weaponized and it sucks.
Mhm.
Like, it's been such a blessing over the last 6 months to be able to do this and be able to see, Kenneth and his beautiful family.
Mhm.
Like, Birch, Souza, like,
Mhm.
everybody just they all wanna help, and the fact that, like, the left kind of has weaponized it to make us feel like we can't trust these guys,
Mhm.
it sucks. It's unfair.
Yeah, and I think you could take something from, the conversation that we had with Sousa where it's like an individual accountability for the situations or the person where we generalize everything. Everything is generalized.
Yeah.
All men are toxic. If a man has an opinion, if a man has a belief, if a man has a type, if a man has expectations, then he is a toxic man. But you have a woman that says the very same things. Like, I have standards, I have expectations. This is what I want. This is what I desire. This is my type. This is what I'm sexually attracted to. Then all of a sudden she's, praised for it and she's a strong woman and all of these type of things. And I think that it's on an individual basis. There are bad men out there. We've been around them. We've seen them. We know them.
But to make
They're
us believe that they're all bad?
right, because that's the narrative that is when a man says, we talk about these values all the time, like men that have values and men that have expectations and men that say, I mean, the big one now that I see a lot is that any man that says, I want my wife to stay home,
Yeah,
I
it's
want to give
misogynistic,
is
yeah.
misogynistic and controlling and all of these type of things. We hearing that this idea of being controlled, they're using that narrative. Whereas you also have some women that want to be there for their husbands, want to
Yep.
care for their husbands, care for the home. And it's a gift that they don't have to go to work, 8 hours a day. It's a gift that they get to be home with their children. It's a gift.
Yep.
But not everybody believes that. So what tends to happen in every fucking topic is that it gets generalized. So therefore, every man that believes this specific thing is not has to be is a toxic masculine man. Masculinity
Yeah.
is yeah, like masculinity is literally trying to be wiped away because what do you hear most of the time? The easiest way to dysfunction anything is to not have strong men. So what are they trying to do?
Yeah.
They're trying to take away masculinity and talk about it like it's a problem, you know? So
Yeah, and then also to Kenneth, my wife got called a toxic masculinity supporter online for being a stay-at-home mom. And then they do is try to make the women feel bad about it. You know what I mean? They try to and they try to make the woman not like the dude. You know what I mean? Like, not like the husband because they're like, "Oh, girl, he's not giving you this. He's not letting you do this. Like, you can't have your own,
yeah, and
your
then
own."
anytime a woman says I'm submissive to my husband, I'm submissive to my partner.
Oh, don't say the word submissive.
You can't say that because that's a bad word that's been used in many occasions as a bad you submit to me, you obey me. That like
And that's not what's trying to
that's
be
not
said.
what's
Yeah.
trying to be said. submit it. I mean, maybe surrender is a better word. I surrender to my partner. I surrender to this life. I surrender to
or just whatever happened to be to being able to have a choice in it. Like if that's what works for you and your partner, why is that why is the push so big that women can't rely on a man for protection or women can't, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
all these dudes that I talk to, I I trust on some level.
I
And that
mean, yeah,
and that for me is difficult as fuck.
me
Like
too.
I don't just talk and share shit with dudes. Like I for a long time I didn't even care to know how a dude felt,
Mhm.
which sucks. Like that's terrible. The fact that like I care more about what women feel like. I don't care at all what men feel like. Hey, just go fucking figure it out. You're a dude. You're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But you have to like I care how these guys feel. I see why their wives care how they feel. I see why, all these things. It just sucks. It's just
Yeah.
a time space right now that
But it's not so much a need. It's really it, it's just a reminder that there are good people out there. Yeah, there's bad people out there, but there's also there's a lot of good people out there too, because I'm like you too. Having these conversations with these men that we've met, has definitely started to build back my trust that I have in men,
and it's
you know?
very scary for me. Like
Yeah, for sure.
it you know, reaching out and trying to talk to these guys and that first chat appreciation and seeing how men just laugh and banter with each other.
Mhm.
And then seeing how they also show that they care and seeing all these different things from these guys, like
Mhm.
that was very scary for me. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to think. They've always told me like, "Yo, just men are bad."
Men
I
are bad, men are not supposed to have feelings, men are just supposed to go out and
Yeah.
not be a part of the family, and it goes back to that change or it goes back to that whole thing of how do you want your life to be?
No
What works for you?
no one's ever asked I don't think I've ever seen anywhere anybody ask how a man views the world
Mm,
and what they see and what they want and what their feelings are and how they see their life and unless it has to do with a job or money.
mhm,
No one's ever asked them, "Do you see yourself with a big family? Do you see yourself with, you know, like a partner for life? Or do you want to be a stay-at-home dad? Or do you want to
mhm.
be a provider?" And either one is fine, but do you want to, what do you want? Has anybody ever like I've never seen that conversation with like anybody have that conversation with a dude to find out what he actually wants.
I think they're out there. I just don't think that they're as common for those type of questions because, you know, men aren't supposed to talk about their feelings. Men aren't supposed to share.
And I get that, and they like, whatever, whether you're a very open whichever way you wanna go with it, like, I don't care, I think it's funny that I've sat back and I've seen all these guys on so many different podcasts,
Mhm,
you know what I mean? Like, all of them,
mhm,
and you just look at them and you're like, they're not supposed to be able to take, for instance, the Sousa conversation I just had.
mhm.
That was a very difficult conversation for me to have with him about George Floyd,
Yeah,
because I haven't spoken publicly about it, and I don't I I'm there's feelings there. I have a emotional female feelings there,
yeah,
and he was able to talk to me and tell me and explain it to me, and yeah, I get it. I get what he was saying. I get that there's 2 things can be true.
mhm.
And that was really cool. That was one of the most there was a lot in there. Like, I'm gonna clip a lot of it, but there was a lot in that conversation that fuck, man. Like
Yeah, it also gives perspective, and if people are willing to have conversations and give perspective and be respectful. At the end of the day, you don't have to agree with every single thing that the person across the table from you is sharing or what their beliefs are. You don't.
Yeah.
But there's a way that you can have a conversation
Uh-oh,
and
Bobby Star, is the phone not working?
oh,
Why can't I call in?
it should be on.
It should be on. Everything's connected the right way. I'll check it for you, dude.
Um,
Go ahead, babe. Sorry.
yeah, no, that it's just a reminder that conversations are really good and perspectives are really good. And just because I believe something that you don't believe doesn't mean that we can't have a conversation about it. Also, doesn't mean that you're going to change my mind. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It just means that we're going to agree to disagree on certain topics. And the coolest thing with all these guys that we have conversations with is that we are able to talk to them and ask them questions, and they're choosing how they respond to it.
Yeah.
And again, being very vulnerable and very honest. And I mean, in that moment for you, babe, like
Yeah.
having that conversation with him was a big moment for you. I'm very proud of you to be able to, you know,
Oh, wow, it's really not working. No,
it
what?
says number is no longer in service.
Oh man,
Oh,
shit.
all right. Sorry about that, Bob.
I'll try to pick
All right.
another one.
All right. So I'm going to take this down
Yeah, I don't know
and
what
we
happened.
will try to get that
Yeah, I don't know how I
working
lost that.
next time. Sorry about that, Bob.
I
But
know.
if you have a question or anything,
Yeah,
just
just
write it in here for us and we'll
yeah, my bad. I
um
Yeah,
do you
it was to answer what you just said, it was a
yeah.
very I wanted to ask him that, but I was very fearful of asking him that.
Mhm.
Um, didn't really know where it was gonna go, but his the way that he, like, guided me through all of that was really awesome, and
I also think too, and obviously you have the first interaction with um most of the the guests that we've had. And you've said that every single one of them has been really cool and receptive from the very beginning. So I feel like when you have that first interaction with someone like that, it really sets the tone and it sets the trust from the very beginning. If Sousa, we're just talking about him because he's the one that you
yeah.
just brought up, whatever. But if Sousa answered you was like, "No, I don't have fucking time for this," or whatever, or just like, "Fine, whatever, sure, we'll try to set something up if I have time," blah 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 blah, like, and came across in that kind of energy, I'm sure for you, you'd be like, okay, I don't really want to pursue this because I don't want to be an inconvenience. I get it, whatever. But there's a respect there because you understand, you do your research, you understand who, excuse me, they are, you understand that they're busy. And they've all understood where we're coming from. And we're a very small podcast and we just want to have conversations. So it's really cool.
What? Oh,
Oh, Bobby Star.
yeah, hold on, Kenneth, the number did look so hey, listen,
It's been the same number.
we're not as rich as Sevon. We can't get a third phone right now. I'm hoping at some point we can get a third phone, but right now we were using the Text Now app. I'll try to set something else up and use
Mhm.
some other app. But
Mhm.
yeah, it was sus. Bobby Star. So I have a bigger channel. I'm sure you do. Like I'm really sure you do. I find this conversation fascinating. Would you guys be willing to do a live stream panel? Yeah, sure. Uh DM us, whatever, we're good. Um, but, go ahead, sorry.
No, I think that I think it's very telling for the group of men that I mean, and we have to give kudos where they belong.
Ye
It's very telling the men that
but
Savon attracts and the
yeah,
people
it
that
is
he
very
can, that he gets to follow him and be a part of his crew and stuff like that. Whether it's just the chat, whether it's his actual personal team that he has, Taylor and Pedro and Hiller and all of them,
but you
like
know what? The cool part about it is they were all willing. They like,
mhm.
I I asked Pedro a question in the last episode that he wasn't ready for, and that I didn't think that that was going to be the answer
Mhm.
about his wife giving birth.
Mhm.
But you know what? He sat in his chair and he thought about it and he answered it and he felt comfortable enough with us to answer the question. And
Mhm.
I felt comfortable enough with him to ask the question.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was coming.
Yep.
None.
Yep.
But that level of uh you know, it it's crazy to think that that can come from a dude
I almost
because they don't
wonder.
tell us that. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, Kenneth is in here, and I mean, I don't really know if for Jake Chapman if we've kind of had like a very serious conversation or whatever, but I almost wonder if it's I don't know, new territory or it's appealing to the guys that we have on here to even ask those type of questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, because do men get asked these questions that much? Do they have these
I think
conversations that much?
I
So,
I honestly think they've tried to make it so that we don't ask the questions and we don't talk to men like this and
mhm,
we don't, you know, even the fun part, right? Like even we do the chat appreciation with the dudes and we come on and we talk about absolutely every stupid ass thing we could possibly talk about.
right.
It's still stuff I would probably want to know. Like it's
Well, we are raising a son, so
you know
it's
what I mean?
yes.
It is still things that guys do that I probably want to know. Like there's this whole thing about the Haktua girl
Mhm.
and now Pac-Man. Would you rather a woman be Pac-Man or would you rather a woman be the Haktua girl? Personally, I think it's appealing. We don't get asked that. That's what I'm saying. I think they made it a thing to where we just couldn't ask guys. It was like, hey, don't ask women what they like or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Hey, dudes aren't going to tell you anything. They're just going to be assholes. All they want you for is sex. That's it. They're never going to have an actual conversation with you. So don't even bother. And that's how
Yeah.
I felt for a very, very long time.
Mhm.
So now all I want to do is kind of know how men think, like how do men joke around? The whole like, do I want to be in a men's only like chat?
Chat, do you?
No, I don't. Because now I know, and I absolutely believe that men deserve their own spaces to just be men and just be as ridiculous as they are.
Mhm.
Also, I know that it's just in good fun.
Mhm.
That's their humor. Their humor is different than ours.
Mhm.
Or it's not, but we're not comfortable joking around with men like that.
Right.
We talk shit too, but normally we talk shit about women shit. Like when we joke around and have a thread and talk about shit, it's shit that men probably don't really want to be involved in.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like they don't want a DM in their text thread talking about a tampon.
But
Like,
it comes with the conversation and it comes with the people in the conversation. If you're shooting the shit and you're playing around and it's meant to be funny and things are being said, whatever, like if you have that one person that takes it personal, then the whole conversation changes. But there is some way to be like, if we were shooting the shit and we were with you, me and you, and we had another friend, another girl that was hanging out, and you and I were saying something and she was like, "Oh, hold on. That kind of that kind of hit me for a second. Hold on. Can we break this down a little bit?" And then you have a conversation about it. That's different than we're shooting the shit, we're having fun, we're playing around, and then something is said that's triggering to somebody, and then you start getting yelled at for it.
yeah,
I
but
think that's the difference between men and women
yeah,
is that men can shoot the shit and however they choose to handle it of if something bothers them, I would say most of the time the narrative is just forget about it, let it roll off your back, don't talk about it or whatever. But it was like,
oh, this is fun. Let me answer this one.
oh,
Noodle Live question, born female? Yes. And it's
yes.
okay. I get that all the time. But yes, my
Yes.
ovaries have been working since 1980 or
One.
1992. They were established 1991. They've been functional since 1992.
81.
81,
Yep.
sorry. 81. But Yeah,
But I mean, right? Like,
I love that
isn't that the
about
thing?
dudes too. That's one of the things that I'm learning that I love about dudes is they just don't. If it's too much for them, they're just like, oh fuck, I'm gonna turn this off right now and not
Mhm.
whatever. We're like, we have to prove to you why you should shut up and not talk about this ever again in life because
Mhm.
it hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
When dudes don't do that, and it's fucking fun and it's funny, and it actually is kind of liberating to be able to just be like, hey, would you rather have Hawk Tuah girl or would you rather have the Pac-Man like suck a dick? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's and normally I would be upset about saying that because it's going to offend somebody somewhere, but now
Mhm.
that I've had enough conversations with enough guys all the time, I don't care. Like, what would you rather? I know what happens. Oh yeah, ask that shit, but also let us have locker room. Yeah, like dudes just do that. It's okay. You know what I mean? It like go ahead, fine. Like how long, was she down under? Like it's fine. I don't care. I don't give a shit. And if she was down under 87 times, I also don't care. Like
Mhm.
knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think it's funny that they've tried to keep us and just telling us that dudes are bad because this is what they talk about.
Mhm.
Like, so what?
Yeah.
We go out. So now the only people that we can talk to are women because they make us feel like they're the only ones that we can talk to, where we could be having a really good time with a bunch of dudes laughing and fucking hanging out
Mhm.
and talking shit. But we can't now because all the shit that they say is absolutely wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we can't have fun and we can't enjoy it and just laugh at it.
Vindicate.
Yeah. Vindicate. What's up, bro? The chat appreciation show definitely gives you insight as to what men are like around each other. and I if you watch the first one as compared to the last one, I am absolutely like, oh my God, mortified. Like you can see it in my face on the first show. Like I'm mortified, but I really want to know and I really want to understand like what's happening. Why do women turn off Sevon's show? Why do women not want to, like Taylor's annoying or whatever? I want to know why. What do men say that make it so that women just automatically are like, no.
Mhm.
And as like it kind of has come to me that like, oh, guys can take a joke. They can take a fucking joke.
They can take a joke, but I also think they can take the truth differently than women can.
Oh,
Like,
fair.
I mean, and this is just from me, seeing clips and here and there from different podcasts and stuff like that. What I see is that like some women when they explain or they're trying to make a point, and then if a guy's on a panel, he's like, "Okay, but let me ask you questions. Let me actually understand what you're saying," or almost say it back to them in a way that like makes them like think about what they were saying, then it becomes almost like an attack where again, I'm just asking you a question. I'm asking a follow-up question. When did conversation become so taboo?
Yeah.
That's really what I feel
So
for
now
most
so now
people.
now I feel like they weaponized the term mansplain. Cause like like now in the last whatever it's been 5 months, 6 months, whatever, I've been talking to all these men and I've been making an effort to try to figure out, hey, how do we have these conversations? How can I make it comfortable for these men to have these conversations? How because they have to tell a woman, right?
Mhm.
So it's as uncomfortable it is for and now it's not uncomfortable, but as uncomfortable as it was for me to talk to men, I have to assume that talking to women for a dude would be a little uncomfortable. So how do I make it as acceptable as I can or as
Mhm.
comfortable as I can for them to tell me these little insider man things? And what I've kind of come to is that they weaponize the word mansplaining and they just made it so that anytime a man explains anything in his own way, it's bad.
Mhm.
And it's him talking down to you as a woman.
Mhm.
And I can't see it when I talk to these men. And I've
not the men that we have been able to have these conversations with. I have seen some pretty intense mansplaining in certain situations. But again, it goes back to the whole idea of like each person is different. I also think too that, you know, kind of what Noodles was saying, women waste lots of time on dumb things. That's why they don't run things or whatever. I also think that the conversation is that men and women have different things that are more important to them.
yeah.
Like there's a different focus to where
Oh, okay. Yeah, Garrett, I was that first show was
it was. It was.
it was.
It really, really was. That's why I
Listen,
hung out not on screen. I was not about that.
Kenneth, I was nervous, but we are homies. Yeah, I mean it was.
Mhm.
And the next conversation that we have, because I have a lot of things I want to ask you again too, kind of especially about our kids. Like I won't be as nervous because I but the fact that they're kind of making it feel like we can't have that conversation as friends. We can't have like women will never understand you. They're just gonna bitch and moan at you, and men are just misogynistic all the time.
Mhm.
And it's not that way. At
Well,
least that's what I found.
my question to the guys that are all here or whatever, do you feel that explaining or showing like your vulnerable side or um feelings, like does that take away from your masculinity? Because that's also a big conversation too. That's a big question that men can't show that they have feelings and they have emotions because then it weakens their ego, it weakens their masculinity.
Also, too, I feel like they always say like men won't say, and that's the thing I think I found the most mind blowing is men won't talk about their wives like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They won't give their wives the credit or just the birthing thing or being amazed by the fact that your wife gave birth. And every single dude I've talked to is just like, holy crap,
Mhm.
my wife is amazing and she is a monster and they want to make us think that we can be the same as dudes and we're not the same as dudes.
Mhm.
And it's okay that we're not. Like
Mhm.
I don't
Well,
know where this happened.
one of the one of the clips, and um I should find this podcast because it's really good. It comes up in my algorithm a lot, and I just don't remember what the name of it is. Um,
Jonathan Ortega, I think mansplaining comes in when dudes are being condescending when they explain stuff. I would like to go back and look at some of the things that I originally thought were mansplaining and really see if now I would think that they were mansplaining or if they were
mhm,
just trying to explain shit to me the way that most of the guys now that I talk about are explaining shit.
mhm.
If this is actually Hopper, no, it can't be.
No, it can't be.
But hi, Hopper.
um, shit. What was
Find the
it?
clip. You wanted to find a clip.
Oh, so we were listening. I was listening. This part of the clip was women saying that equal equality. You know, as men, we're all the same. We can do all the same thing and whatever. And the person that was on explaining it was the guest. It wasn't the host, but it was the guest. Was a guy that was saying um, that would a woman go out and build roads? Would a woman go out and do all of the quote unquote man jobs that men do? And all of the women were quiet. You know, so but that's also not a bad thing to say that there are jobs out there that men do that as a woman I don't want to do. If I don't have to, I don't want to. I don't think it makes anybody bad to want to do something different, but
Oh, okay. This is interesting. Okay, Noodles Live. That's a very feminine take on the world. All women live in a bubble controlled by men. I mean, that's a little much. I what? What do you mean? Like, as far as protection? Like, do I think like men protect women? Yeah, I absolutely do think men protect women.
yeah, he said that in the bottom. Men control and protect that bubble.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't know how far or how like but yeah, absolutely. Like if I've said this before, I'm not I think I told Tyler Watkins this. I'm not going to get a fucking like spider in the bathroom or some shit. I'll make Jeff do it.
Yeah,
Like
neither am
my
I.
best
So
friend, like, yo,
that's
go
why
get
we
that
have
shit.
my best
That's
friend.
not my role. I don't want to touch insects. I'm not big on snakes. Like I saw Papa Birch out like catching snakes in his yard, not
Mm,
taking pictures of them, and I was like,
mm-mm,
yeah,
mm-mm.
nah,
No,
nah,
thanks. I'm
that's not
good.
me. I'm not doing that
I'm
thing.
good. Yeah.
Um, Hopper, it's actually me. Do you know me? If you're Jason Hopper going to the CrossFit Games, then I know you. If not, then no. But I mean, I'm happy to get to know you. I like to know everybody. Vindicate, hell no. I've got all the emotions. I can't pull it up right now, but
Which one?
Vindicate, hell no. I've got all the emotions. It's it's good to know because they make us think that you don't, and also they make us think that you're not willing to talk about it either. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, John Woolley, I'm not either. That's Bean's job. Yeah, that's why you get a cat, or at least that's yeah. You go. The cats do that. Do that. Go
Go
do
do
cat
that
things.
thing. Go do that thing. But yeah, I think to, the bigger picture, it's just been really cool to have conversations with men at different parts of their lives. They're different parts of their lives. We've talked to men that are dads. We've talked to men that are married. We've talked to men that are um, you know, building businesses and all this type of stuff. So like being able to have different perspectives and being able to ask questions, like the coolest thing for me talking to Chase and talking to Bill Grunler was being able to ask dad questions. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, my I grew up with my father. He was in my
Yep.
life, but it's very interesting to me to be able to ask other dads that have girls. How do you do this? From a dad's perspective, how do you do this? How would you navigate this? How would you answer this? When we talk about having protecting women's sports and stuff like that. Like that's the like those type of questions, it's really cool to just have that other side perspective of when you look at this and you see this, how do you feel about it? And every single guy that we've been able to talk to on here has been really cool about it.
I think we're better too when we have men in our life that we can trust.
Mhm.
I think we grow up better. I think we see the world better. I think that when it's possible for us to trust men,
Mhm.
the world is better for us. And the fact that they have been trying to take that away is is kind of heartbreaking for me
Mhm.
a little bit, you know?
Well, to all the men that are in here, why, and babe, you can answer this too. Why are they trying to get rid of or maybe did I answer this myself?
You kind of did.
Why are they trying to get rid of the traditional man?
Because they're afraid of the traditional man. They're trying to like feminize all of our men because what's the least scary thing a masculine man or what's the most scary thing a masculine man in their eyes, the most scary thing is a masculine man. I'm learning now it's not, and it's the most like safe thing,
Mhm.
but like that's what they're trying to teach you is the most scary thing is a
Mhm.
masculine man.
Mhm.
Vindicate, I this question, have you seen Katy Perry promotions for her new album Woman's World? It's a lot of women doing traditional men shit. Yeah, and they told us that that was like,
Mhm.
let's do that.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna lie, as a butch or mask or whatever you want to say, lesbian woman, yeah, I tend to veer towards more masculine things. But I'm not over here claiming I'm gonna be a man. I'm not over here claiming like
No, you're still a
yeah,
woman.
there's no I'm not about to go be like, "Yo, I'm gonna go to the UFC and fight a dude and I'm gonna win."
Mhm.
Fuck that. What?
Mhm.
And also too, I don't want a man in my sports either because I would like to earn my position in my sport and not have a dude with, 20 years worth of testosterone in them coming in and trying to, compete with me. Like that's
Mhm.
unfair.
Mhm.
So, um I don't know. I I don't I this is another one. I'm going out on a limb
Mhm.
for a hot take, but I personally kind of am starting to think that they're trying to make women do traditional men shit. Um, Kind of because it fucks up the traditional family household.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, what man is gonna want to do? You don't want your woman to do traditional man shit. You want your woman to go out and like fix the car or change a tire or
Mhm.
you don't kind of want to see her doing that. Like that's not a thing. I don't want to see you doing that. Like
What? Go fix a car?
no, I just kind of don't want to see you doing that. Like I don't know. It's a biological thing, and I do believe that, and I think it's just kind of how we were created.
Mhm.
So, um, I don't know who this I don't Noodles, I don't know you, bro, but, I can't get the phone working right now, so give up on that. Men are attracted to the weakness of women. I don't think that that's the word, but cool. Uh,
Coach. What up, coach? I
what's
didn't even
up,
see you
coach
in here.
there? Um,
Uh,
Kenneth Delap, the kids.
when I asked why they're trying to get rid of the traditional man.
Oh
That
yeah,
was his response or whatever.
yeah, fair.
This one.
Coach Sir Moose, masculinity in its traditional sense has been portrayed as toxic. Yeah. Hence the degraded views of strength, independence, and courage. Yeah, it sucks, dude. Like and also too, like I'll even talk about this. I don't kind of like the fact that even like our more feminine dudes or our gay guys or whatever that they're trying to like make them women. Like
Mhm.
they're just feminine dudes. It's okay that there's feminine dudes out there. It's okay that there's gay guys out there. Like that's fine.
Mhm.
Stop trying to make them girls. They're not
Mhm.
girls.
Mhm.
They're dudes. They're doing their thing. They're gay. They're whatever. Blah blah blah. Masculine men, stop telling them they're freaking toxic and that they are degrading to women and misogynistic. They're not. They're masculine and they're
Mhm.
just doing masculine guy things. Having locker room talk, uh, rolling cross country, just blowing things up and whatever it is that
Mhm.
guys do.
Mhm.
Like it's just masculinity. It's fine.
Mhm.
If not, like how do you have an army? How do you have you know what I mean? Like how do you
Yeah.
that's just the way it is.
Mhm.
Um and vindicate, and it's also an endless promotion of Katy Perry's tits.
It's so odd. Oh my god, it's so
It, but I'm
funny.
paying attention. I don't blame you. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, but I just think that it's been really cool to have these conversations and
Yeah.
get the feedback and
I've just found it really, really cool over the last, 5, 6 months getting these men to come on and share their stories and talk and just really have like real conversations and explain shit.
yeah, and they tell their truth, which is
Yeah.
really cool. And we don't even ask them to. We just
Yeah.
ask a question and we're waiting for them to like, hey, I'm not going to answer that question. And none of them do. They just, take
I'm super appreciative and I can't wait. Like I want to have so many more conversations because I'm learning so much and I'm less pissed all the time.
mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just like, "Oh, that dude just said whatever he just said," like, I'll laugh at it or
Yep.
whatever, and then
Yep.
just go back to my day instead of just being like, "Oh, I have to rile up everybody around me now because I
Mm-hmm.
was offended over something that wasn't offensive."
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
um, it's it's been fun and I always say this and I wanted to do this. That was kind of the first original reason why I wanted to do this because I just wanted to see like everybody was so ready to call just the all the group of men that are talking like just so toxic and so whatever and I kind of just wanted to be like, are they though? Like I don't feel like any interaction I've ever had was ever toxic, but
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's talk about it and find out and come to find out
And
like
I'm sure there are. You do hear stories and you
of
do
course there's
hear
yeah.
situations and whatever. So nobody's saying again, it goes back to my statement of this whatever of like how like stop generalizing everything and take it at an individual base. Like is this particular person toxic, whether it's a man or a woman? Is this particular person toxic? No. Got it. How about the next one? Yes. How about the next one? No. Like, and stop making everything so general. And I think that that is the problem is that
They're
we
doing that
generalize
they're
everything.
doing that with everything too, though. It's
Yep.
cops.
Yep.
They generalize it with cops. They generalize it with white people. They generalize it with black people.
Mhm.
They're generalizing it with like
Yep.
immigrants, everything. It's like, no, is that person shitty?
Mhm.
Okay, that person's shitty.
Mhm.
So we're gonna put that on that person,
Yep.
and then I'm gonna go back and talk to the group that I like to talk to.
Right.
So it's
Right.
cool.
Mhm.
Like, if I don't like you, I just don't like you. If you don't like me, you just don't like me. It
And that's
doesn't mean that
okay.
every facet that I am is horrible, like, with everybody else that's like me.
It's also that it's also the understanding, and this is hard for everybody to accept or whatever, is that not everybody's gonna like you.
Yeah.
So, and not everybody's gonna wanna be around you, and not everybody is going to want to be oh, Jonathan.
"Oh, we like you too. Come on the show. Be another dude that we talk to. It's fine."
Yeah, come hang out with us. Um, and that's also okay.
Yeah, we stopped teaching that somewhere. We stopped saying that to kids that, "Hey, yo, not everyone's gonna agree with you and not everybody's gonna like you."
Yep, yep.
Somewhere we stopped saying that, and I don't know why or how, but yeah, somewhere in there we stopped saying that.
I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier, is that a lot of us don't grow up with coping skills. We don't know how to just deal with the fact that not everybody's gonna like you, not everybody's gonna agree with you, not everybody's gonna want to be around you. And then what happens is that we take that and like we make it about us, but in a way that's almost paralyzing to the point where we can't function. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being like, okay, they don't want to hang out with me.
Yeah.
That's more about them than it is me. But maybe I can take a look at myself and, you know,
I've had a lot
choose to do better for myself or whatever it was,
I've
you
ha
know?
I've had a lot of new, opinions lately, whether you wanna say politically, well, I mean, definitely politically, but, um, and I can't say that there are too many people that were like, "Okay, we don't agree with you politically, but we know you, and we know you're a good person, and we know that whatever the reason is that your thought process has changed on certain things,
Mhm.
like, it's not because you wanna fight with us." So, I haven't had that interaction yet where it's kinda like, I mean, I've had some people just stop talking to me altogether, but that's
Mhm.
fine. At least it's not confrontational. But I've
Mhm.
also I have people that I know that we're not on the same political spectrum, but we might be close, but they're still willing to have a conversation with me to figure out what's happening and what's going on in this world.
Yeah, because do you wanna have a conversation or do you wanna fight about it? Like, are you walking in and the hands are up and we're ready to get at it, we're ready to start boxing, like, what are we doing? Or are we gonna start having a conversation, realize that we're not on the same page on stuff, and are we gonna throw those hands up or we're gonna keep them down and just sit at the table and have a conversation? Like, are you trying to have a conversation to hear what the other person is saying?
Are you trying to have it to
Or
win?
yeah, are you having it to win and to fight? So,
Yeah, because we can go around this all day and you can just yell and scream at me, but if you yell at me, I'm probably not listening to you.
yeah.
So,
And that's most of us. You start screaming at somebody, then whatever message you're trying to get out there isn't going to be heard because you're just screaming at somebody. You're not actually explaining it. You're not actually like trying to have that conversation. So,
Jonathan Ortega, is Noodles the new Rambler? I don't know, but I mean, yeah, I'm not going into that, Noodles. And like if our contacts are on the screen, so you can DM whatever. Um, but yeah, I to me, it's just it's like they think that you're not gonna make a mistake or that you're not gonna have a bad take on something, and then maybe be like, "Oh, yo, I thought about this the wrong way. Here, let me look into this a little bit more, and
mhm,
you know,
mhm,
I'll figure it out." And then maybe I'll shift. It's just yell at you, yell at you, yell at you.
mhm.
Well, that's not gonna. I'm not listening.
Right,
So,
right.
but if I don't know. I mean, I never had a black square up. I never had any of that. I've done like if you scroll through my Instagram, you can see a lot of my woke shit.
Yeah,
Also, I'm not apologizing for that. I had to go through that to get here.
yep.
So I went through a lot of things to get to where I am, and I'll
Mhm,
probably go through a lot more things and get somewhere else.
mhm.
I got here.
Yep,
Like,
yep.
it's cool.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I felt all week after talking so much to all these guys, all these really good guys, even homegrown. I was on the phone with the homegrown
Mhm.
relief
Yep.
guy and his assistant, and with Vindicate, and like it's just it's not what they're telling you. Like
Yep.
men are not what they're telling you. And I guess I have to say that coming from a place where I was like at one point a man hating lesbian.
Mhm.
And now I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
like, you know,
Yeah. Well, and the thing too, again, we like to have conversations with really cool dudes because we are raising a boy. We're raising a boy, and we've got questions. I
yeah.
have a lot of questions. So you have a lot of questions. So to have really cool people like Kenneth and Travis and
Yeah, even
um
Jonathan Ortega I've talked to behind the scenes, and he was always like, "Hey, if you have any questions about media or whatever,
yep.
I probably should have taken you up on those questions because my IG is still shit." But um, like,
Hey, the podcast one is pretty good.
yeah, well, that's because you do the podcast one. I don't do that one, but my idea is shit. But Jonathan, I probably should have reached out to you way earlier and just asked you a couple of like questions. But
Yeah.
everybody that I've reached out to between Caleb and Sevon and Wooly and Pedro and uh help me out. She helped us with the clips. I'm losing my train
Lauren.
of thought. Lauren,
Yep.
Khalil, like
Yep.
everybody's just, and even my buddy Jason CF Media, like everybody's always been so willing to help out. It's been really cool.
Yeah.
And it just I wanted to make this episode today just to be like, yo,
Mhm.
you can talk to dudes. Dudes are
Yeah.
cool. So
Mhm.
when the lesbians start watching this, like dudes are cool.
They're cool.
They're fun. Go hang out. Like it's a good time.
Go hang out. Yeah. Yep.
Like
They're yeah, the ones that, like I said, that we've been able to talk to and have had the honor of talking to have been pretty cool.
Miss Masters athlete. I can't stop calling you that. I'm sorry because that's what I'm so stuck on everybody's like YouTube name now that I can't stop doing it.
No, we can't say
But we are a strong community of like-minded people with authenticity, and it really does show. It's really cool.
yeah.
The way that everybody bonds together and everybody just
Well, we were talking about that with Travis last night or whatever, is that this group that you have gotten into
yeah.
and gotten into and met, and now I've met all of them, and it's really cool to see how just everybody wants to support each other in the way that we can. And everybody is willing to jump on this podcast, jump on this, support this, and it's just it's just really cool to be a part of a group that's like we're all trying to get to the same place. We're all just trying to support each other while it doesn't matter where we're trying to go. Someone's trying to get big, someone's trying to stay small, someone wants to just support, someone just loves what they do. Like whatever the end goal is, like what individualized or whatever. That we're all just trying to help and support the best that we can. So I think it's
It
really
really
cool.
felt full circle after last night's conversation with Travis
Mhm.
Vindicate
Mhm.
and go that's where we get all our shit from.
Yep. Yep.
But it really felt full circle after that podcast last night because it was like, damn, like we talked about everything. Like we talked about,
Mhm.
I didn't get into as much as I would have liked to with him because I have a feeling we would have gone for another like hour.
Oh my
But
god, yeah.
yeah, but
But
like
no, we can't
business.
because we have to keep inviting them back on.
Yeah,
So
right. I know.
Travis knows that he's coming back on again.
But I needed like felt full circle last night because we got to talk about business, we got to talk about training. It was fun. Then we got into some funny shit.
Mhm.
Then we went back into serious and like to be able to do that,
Seamlessly?
yeah,
Mhm.
with a grown ass man, and he is a grown ass man.
Yeah. Yep.
I really I'm like, okay.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's almost kind of like
Yeah.
yeah, like I've realized something from a long childhood and a long, like, part of my adulthood where, like, dudes don't suck.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
Not all
Like,
of
yeah,
them.
but, like,
Yeah.
you you're more likely to find ones that don't if you reach out than you are to find ones that are bad dudes. Like,
Mhm.
you're more likely to find the good guys
Mhm.
if you reach out then, and that to me was pretty when I kinda sat back and thought about it after that podcast last night, and I was like, "Damn." I was like, "Chase, Bill, Pedro, Sevon, Hiller,
Mhm.
Wooly, like, uh, Jason." I can't even Tyler, you know what I mean? I can't
Yeah.
even, like, uh,
Mhm.
it's an we could have gone I know, I know, I know, and I'm the one lesbian that was ready to go way longer with you, bro. I was. Um,
One of the most profound things I think I've ever heard is, and I think it was with one of my coaches, is we're raising a son, we're raising a man, and if we walk through this life hating men, then
yeah,
we're already prejudging our son.
and what are we doing to him for
We're
sure?
already prejudging our son. So it's that was very profound for me to really start to
Yeah,
look at things differently because our son is beautiful and he is so sweet and he's kind and you know social and independent and all of these type of things. And so in order
yeah.
for us to, not put that burden of our mistrust of men on him,
It's not his burden,
it's
it's
not
ours.
it's not his burden, and we get to again change the cycles and do things differently and ask questions differently, um so that we can be better for him
Yeah,
and give him that, versus giving the burden or the, like I said, prejudgment of men.
yeah.
We're raising a man.
And it was very cool, that picture of him last night, just sitting outside with Ken and talking about fishing and wanting to go fishing and you know what I mean? Like, and it just kind of and then the podcast with Vindicate and I just sat back and I was like, "Wow."
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's taken me a long time to get here, but, like, yeah, man,
Mhm.
I'm seeing it,
It's
and
cool.
I'm very grateful for, like, all the dudes that have come on the show for sharing everything that they've
Mhm.
shared, and I I'm just so excited to keep talking to everybody that I can talk to. Not this sorry, ladies, this wasn't a show for women tonight, like, I love all of you guys too, like, you've
Mhm.
all been wonderful to me too, but,
Mhm.
um, yeah, I just from my own preconceived notions from before I started doing this podcast, like, it's very cool, and it feels real nice to have a bunch of dudes that you can just be like, "Hey, I got a question,"
Mhm.
and, like, they'll answer you, and
Mhm.
honestly, and it's cool.
Yeah, they've been really, really cool.
So,
So, we like our guys.
yeah, thanks, guys, again, and Vindicate, we'll try to get your whenever you can email me, but, and take your time, whatever. I'd like to have it up before the Caleb show,
Mhm.
but thanks, guys. Miss Masters Athlete, I love you on IG, by the way. Um, uh, Kenneth, you're my dude, always. I feel like I ask you too many questions sometimes.
Never.
No, man, like,
Never.
always, always, always.
No, never, never,
I
never.
just sent, Jan a bunch. I don't really ever send him reels, and then I was like, today, I was just like, "Oh, I'm sending you all the crazy reels." So
Mhm.
get ready, because pumped for the next chat appreciation, so I can ask some
Oh,
more
boy.
questions, because I got now I'm ready.
Oh,
Now I'm ready.
boy.
So,
Oh,
but
boy.
yeah, thanks, guys, for hanging out. Really appreciate all of you
Yep.
always.
Yep.
It's always a good time. So, and we'll see you on Saturday, 7:30 p.m. for Caleb, and then Sunday at 4 for Mr. Dylan Lowen, which I'm very
Mhm.
excited for as well. So
Mr. Beaver. So,
awesome.
thanks, guys. We'll see
We'll
you
see you
next
next
time.
time. Boom.